Drunk driving not only injures or kills those driving, but also those who are caught in the crossfire. And most of us know we shouldn't drink or drive, but it's more common than some of us might think. Because according to the CDC in 2018, one person dies every 50 minutes due to an alcohol-related accident. And in 2016, 10,497 people died in alcohol-impaired driving crashes, accounting for 28% of all traffic-related deaths in the United States. Again, this is according to the CDC in 2018. We see or hear these numbers, but they're not as significant as they might be if you see them up close. And this is a chart I pulled from the CDC website that shows the amount of people who drive while intoxicated in the millions. So in 1993, we can see that it's at 123 million, and we can see it gradually increase up until about 2006, when we again see it start to decrease. So clearly we've taken a step in the right direction to decrease the amount of people who are drunk driving, but it's not significant enough. There's still things we need to do to stop this situation from happening. But first we need to think about why people drink and drive. People drink and drive mainly because, one, they either believe they're not as drunk as they really are, or two, they don't really care because they are drunk and have limited cognitive ability. Because alcohol is a impairing substance. But instead of thinking about yourself and your selfish reasons for drinking and driving, we need to think about others. Because drunk driving not only affects you, it affects others as well. The people who are killed in an accident from a drunk driver aren't always just the drunk driver. It is also people's children, their mothers, their fathers, their aunts, uncles, cousins, brothers, sisters, sons, daughters that can be killed as well. And that doesn't mean that it's the ones in the vehicle who you hit because you were drunk driving, but it could be the ones in the back seat or the passenger seat who got in the car with you because they didn't think you were as drunk as you really were as well. And most people, when they think of drunk driving, they don't think it's going to happen to themselves or at least someone close to them. But I can say personally that it happens closer to home than you might think. My older brother was killed from a drunk driver when he was coming home from the movie theater with his girlfriend back in 2004. He had just returned from basic training from the military and was on break before he went back. He got outside of the car after being hit by a woman who ran a stop sign. And although she wasn't the intoxicated person who caused his death, he got out of his car to check on his girlfriend and the woman who hit him, while two people in two separate cars came back from a concert and hit his car while he was outside of it checking on both the people who were involved in the crash. And those people were the ones who were intoxicated. They believed it would be fun to play chicken running down the road, and while they were playing and not thinking clearly, they crashed into my brother and killed him at the scene. He was later pronounced dead at the hospital. But we know this happens, and we know it's more personal than we think. But the question we need to ask ourselves is, what can we do to decrease the amount of people who are drinking and driving? And the way we can do that is by taking an Uber, a Lyft, a taxi, or finding a sober driver to drive you home. We can also start taking the keys from the people who plan on drinking that night so that they don't even have the temptation to drive home. We can think about instituting a breathalyzer at each bar so that anybody leaving that bar has a breathalyzer. And if they are drunk, their keys have to be taken away. And D, you need to take responsibility for yourself and realize that you're probably more intoxicated than you really are, than you really think. And if we don't consider the dastardly consequences of drunk driving, people will still do it. There are ways to avoid drinking and driving, and we should take all the steps to change our actions.